This is episode 5. We're going to look at my body fat composition as well as my blood work, and we're also going to review how the very first week went. So, Dr. Bano, can you tell us a little bit about how this in-body machine works?
Okay, so this in-body machine pretty much gives you 3 different components. It gives you a segmental lean analysis. It provides you with a muscle and fat analysis along with an obesity analysis. So basically our clients are asked to step up on this machine. They hold this handle here and these sensors will take a picture of your weight and your height. So the segmental lean analysis gives you a breakdown of where your fat is distributed amongst your body, in your extremities and along with your abdomen as well.
Perfect. And so it just sends out some type of electrical impulses from that at the bottom there, and then measures how much conductance there is when you're holding on to those bars. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. There's electrical signals pass through your body, and then you also do get a printout after you've completed the 30-second test.
Perfect. So let's measure me.
So this is my in-body body composition analysis. Now, this was done on January 14th, 2020. You can see on this date that I weighed 150.6 pounds. My basal metabolic rate was 1,520 calories. Now, what this means is if I'm completely at rest, per day I am burning about 1,521 calories. Now, everyone has a different basal metabolic rate, and if you have less calories per day than your basal metabolic rate, you absolutely have to lose weight, because that's just the laws of physics, specifically thermodynamics. You can't be burning more calories than you consume and not have those calories come from somewhere, and those calories have to come from your stored calories. So that might be either body fat or glycogen stores. Now, let's look at my muscle fat analysis. So you can see my weight is 150.6, my skeletal muscle mass is 66.1 pounds, and my body fat mass is 33.1 pounds. Now you can see here there's a C-shaped pattern here, and this is a very non-ideal pattern. A more ideal pattern would be a D-shaped pattern, which is more of an athletic pattern where you have more skeletal mass relative to the amount of body fat mass you have and relative to your weight. At the very least, you want these to be fairly even, and the C-shaped pattern is something that I hope will improve as I progress through this project. Now, my BMI is 23.6. So BMI is basically when you take your weight and divide it by your height in meters squared. When your BMI is between 25 and 29.9, you are considered to be overweight, and when it's 30 and above, you're considered to be obese. So I'm borderline overweight at this point in time. Now my percent body fat at the present time is about 22%, which is also not ideal. You can also look at the segmental lean analysis, where it breaks down per my arms as well as my legs and my trunk how much lean body mass I have, and hopefully all of these parameters will improve over time as I progress through this project. This is my blood work. It was done on January 20th, 2020, which is just before I started this diet and exercise program. Now, you can take a look at my cholesterol levels here. as I mentioned in episode 1, mainly for preventive reasons, I am taking a cholesterol pill, namely rosuvastatin 10 milligrams, and I just chose to take that because I know it'll offer long-term protection against heart disease. Now, that pill will mainly affect the LDL. So an LDL under 2 for most people is pretty good. My levels were not too high even before I started it, but a 1.83, which is my level on the pill, is pretty good. Now, that pill does not help so much with triglycerides or with HDL. So HDL is the good cholesterol, so you want that level to be as high as possible, but you can see that my levels are actually low here, so we want that number to be much higher. And then we have the triglycerides, which for me are about 3, and normal is typically under 1.3 or so my triglyceride levels are not so good. And usually the higher your triglyceride levels are, the lower your HDL is. Your triglycerides are, there is a genetic predisposition somewhat, but they are usually largely controlled by your diet. So you can see that I'm not doing so well, and I'm hoping that this will improve as part of this project. Now, I also looked at my thyroid levels, which are normal, and then my A1C, which is a 3-month average of your blood sugars. Now, when one's A1C is 6% to 6.4%, they're considered to be pre-diabetic, and if their A1C is 6.5% or greater, they have diabetes. So at 5.6%, mine is pretty good, and I'm hoping that maybe even this might get a little bit better from where it is. I'm logging all of my diet as well as my exercise on MyFitnessPal. Now, this is a link. I've made public my profile, so you can see exactly what I've been eating and drinking, as well as my entire exercise regimen on this link. This link will also be found below in the description. This is the amount of calories that I've consumed since the beginning of this project on January the 21st. Now, the red line is where my target is. I have to keep my calories per day under this target in order for me to lose about a half a pound every 10 days or so. Now you can see that January 25th was a cheat day, and we'll look a little bit more in detail about this particular day, but just to tell you what happened, this was my daughter's birthday, and we had a big party. We rented a hall, and things got out of hand that day in terms of calorie consumption. Now the problem with a cheat day like this, and if I hadn't been on this project, I wouldn't have kept track of my calories, and I wouldn't have realized that I consumed almost 5,000 calories that day. You can see on most days I'm either at target or a little bit below target or above target, but it kind of averages out. But when you have a cheat day like this, it's very, very, very hard to make up for that cheat day. You can see that, you know, even for the next 10 days, I can't make up, averaging out the amount of calories that were consumed on that one cheat day. So let's look at that day in more detail, January the 25th. So on this particular day, notably, I did not have any breakfast. Now, my lunch consisted of chicken curry, rice, spinach, scrambled eggs, and some potato chips. So lunch alone was almost 900 calories. And then snacks after lunch, I had more chips, a peanut butter cup, a cupcake, some prosciutto, some chocolate, and then some feta cheese. So there's another maybe 700 calories. And then dinner, we had basically a buffet dinner at the birthday party, and then I consumed some beer as well. And you can see how much The beer, I had about 3.5 cans, and how many calories that added up to. And then afterwards we had another after party, at which point there was another pizza and then more beer. So you can see I consumed almost 5,000 calories on this day alone. Now this is an unusual day, but everyone has cheat days, and the problem is that if you don't keep track of your calories, you wouldn't realize how much you overdid it on a particular cheat day. So overall, the first week was a bit rough, mainly because of this cheat day, but otherwise you can see most days I'm doing reasonably well.